for greater things. Watch the space. ERA has taken an active and supportive role to our parent ministry, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. Now, Minister, we thank you. We pick from all sources, from you to the sector and from the sector to you. We thank you for being present, for the call of duty, for serving selflessly. We really thank you. And through you, we thank your family that has stood in the gap as you run with this sector. This transition, once again, is supposed to ensure that there is smooth and transparent handover process. It has been a whole 5 years. I wish all the 5 years were like the last 1 month. There's a lot that has been happening, and the various ministries and government departments and agencies. I can't say only us as the electricity supply industry, but as they said, the Attorney General's Chamber, the Solicitor General, the Ministry of Finance, NEMA, to certify the state of environment of the assets that we are receiving. So the work has been done beyond the borders of the electricity supply industry. We are confident that the government of Uganda, through the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, will continue to manage these assets efficiently and ensure their sustainable contribution to the development of the country and to the energy security and safety that Ugandans are waiting for. We acknowledge with deep appreciation the leadership and support of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Cabinet, but to sing out in Cabinet our own Minister, Mama, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. I think we have a success rate of more than 90% at Cabinet. Every time we go there, we come out victors. Let's give her a round of applause. She prepares, she reads, she asks us to ensure that when we're on the floor, she is comfortable to take charge. So we thank you, engineer. We've birthed an engineer in our own minister. She speaks the engineering language before Cabinet, and you don't feel like adding anything. And when she asks, we all confirm she has presented it effect and the language of electrons. We also acknowledge the support of the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, support of the Attorney General, the Office of the Auditor General, without which we wouldn't be here, but more so the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. You took the beating on our behalf, but we are here together to say Asante Sana, God has made it. Thank you very much, and through you to the Speaker of Parliament that has enabled us to achieve being here today. As Umeme relinquishes control of the electricity distribution assets today, we are appreciative of their services. A round of applause for Umeme and team. The chair is my good friend, I can say. So being a regulator is very difficult. You can have friends that you cannot respond to their invites. But he understands me very well, very strong, straightforward, very transparent and predictable. You do what you are supposed to do, you don't have to whisper to anybody. It will be done. And you get your decision clean. You don't do, you will go to God and still come back and do it. Because we have a law within which we deliver our mandate. So I would like to thank you, the Chair, Board of Umeme, to thank Celestino. Celestino has asked me many times, shall we remain friends? And I said yes. The best friends, because we are in this together. The 10 years of your profession have been written in the electric supply industry of Uganda, and therefore we remain friends to deliver electrons to fuel the economy and to ensure we contribute to the socio-economic development of our country. ERA reaffirms its commitment, creating a conducive, transparent, predictable regulatory environment, one that fosters investment, innovation, and customer protection. Umeme has over the years grown the electricity customer base. I will not go through these numbers. They've already been presented by Setin. I only confirm that they are accurate. I can only add that the occasions where Umeme exceeded the revenue collection target. There are months where Umeme has collected more than 100%. What does that mean? It means our customers pay. They only late pay. So if a year closes with some who have not paid, in the following year, you'll see Umeme declaring, I've collected 102%. So I would like to thank the customers, the consumers of electricity. You've made us so proud. Because we need to be clear. You have the generation segment, because without adequate and available generation, Umeme cannot do a miracle. Transmission cannot do a miracle. So the government has invested in the generation assets, has invested in the transmission assets, and we had an effective distributor to deliver the last portion that interfaces with the consumer. So we thank the government, we thank the transmitter, but more so for today, we thank Umeme. Asante sana. And through you, to all your staff, all the way up to the sweeper, the cleaner, the driver, please appreciate the staff, that the regulator is very appreciative for responding to the call of duty. Because if any of them did not respond to the call of duty, we will not be here celebrating these improvements in service delivery. As we celebrate the good job Umeme has done to date and welcome you, Uedcl, to take charge, it is important to point out that the overwhelming investor interest in our generation sector, generation segment, is partially built by a robust transmission and distribution segment. Because there is no way you can attract investments in the generation segment if they are not sure that they will recover their hard and invested capital. So I would like to thank you in that aspect, that you have lifted our investment climate to the effect that if today my minister stood here and said, I'm privatizing distribution, she will be tired. Her office will be full of so many applications because of the investment climate that you have contributed to. So this has given the investors confidence that the sector is self-sustaining and capable of paying their bills because the Ugandan electricity consumer pays their bill. That is why I emphasize a round of applause for all of us and all those consumers of electricity on whose decision we stand on today to celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, this handover is not just a transfer of physical assets, but is a transfer of responsibility from the private operator to now a state-owned Uganda electricity distribution company. We must embrace this responsibility with diligence and dedication to ensure that the benefits that this transition presents in the electricity supply industry can reach every Ugandan. We want every Ugandan to enjoy the benefits that this transition presents. Thank you for that round of applause. Once again, I sincerely thank our supervisor, Mama, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and your state ministers. You are lucky you got efficient and effective state ministers. Honorable Kasai, I wouldn't have asked for any other Minister of State for Energy than you. We have the doctors in front there who keep spending time in the field. I even wonder how Honorable Kasai balances being in the field as well as appearing before the committees. So you leave him in Karamoja, the following day he says, I need support before the committee. We really appreciate, And in absentia, Honorable Nyamtolo, our youth minister, she has been all over and she has supported the main minister. So I would like to thank the three ministers. I would like to thank the three ministers for being available for duty. You don't know what it takes when you want to make a decision. And the law says you must take into consideration the policy of government. And you are looking for the minister who is the interface between you and the government, and your policy head is not available. And you call is not answer. And you text, she doesn't. My minister responds. She answers, she calls back, she texts back even when she's in parliament. Thank you. Thank you for making our work easy. You've made our work easy. So once again, I would like to thank you, Minister, our Permanent Secretary. I don't know how much I can thank you, but you are an engine behind the technical performance of the sector. You make us proud. She was the best PS last year. So we thank God that she gave us a performer. She gave us a performer, and we thank you, and through you we thank your family, because we know you sacrificed to be available throughout. We can't take that for granted. Thank you very much. We thank the concessionaire, Umeme. We thank the management and staff of Uedcl. Yes, my friend. Again, I got a question. Will you still be my friend? Here it came from the chair body, Uedcl. Even when you stop being a chair, even when I stop being the CEO of ERA, we will remain friends forever. We have painted a record, we've painted history, we can never erase it. We will appear together before the committees of parliament. We are friends and we need each other. So we remain friends, my senior, the chair board of Uedcl. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the stakeholders for their support and dedication, and the best wishes that now I give to Umeme as they close this important chapter in the history of the sector. We believe we have taken the cream de cream, but because of transitions, as you can see, the MD has not crossed. Some of the managers have, the senior management has not crossed. So please remain available. We need you because the sector has trained you. You have our expertise. We are going to call you to partner with us to take the sector forward. Again, to thank Parliament. Mama, allow me to thank, through you, Cabinet, but His Excellency the President, for prioritizing the electricity supply industry. There are many sectors, but there is no public speech that our President will not put us to order. So if you want to work, go and watch every speech of the President. You will come out the following morning, you will be meeting your senior management. Now we have this, we have this, we have this. That caretaking with passion, that guidance, that feedback that he gives us enables us to excel. So Mama, through you, appreciation to His Excellency, the President. As the authority, we pledge total commitment to the sustainable electricity supply industry. We wish all of you a happy day. We wish you, Uedcl, the excellency in performance, and we remain the regulator. If you want to benchmark on what we do best, the consultant is in that corner. They have done a lot of learning, hence enabling them to perfect the game and being able to deliver the milestones that we are celebrating today. From 12% access to nearly 60% access. From 38 losses to under 16. From 250 connections to more than 2.3 now nationally. 2.2 Umeme, and we have another 100 at Uedcl. So if you want to consult how the regulator can deliver decisions seamlessly, the consultants are available. Just get it. They are still available in their address. So consult them. So with that, allow me once again to appreciate all of you for turning up for this event, and appreciate the chief guest, and submit my remarks for God and my country.
Honorable Minister, I would like to thank the previous speakers, and just to note before I invite my peers that after the minister, we shall have the handover of assets, then we'll do a group photo and media interviews at the red carpet. Without much ado, allow me to now invite the Permanent Secretary, Engineer Irene Batebe, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. You're most welcome.
The Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, the Honorable Canon Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu, the Honorable Minister of State for Energy, the Honorable Okasai Sidronius Opolot, Honorable Members of Parliament representing a number of committees, our representatives of different boards. You will allow me combine you in the interest of time. The representative of the Auditor General, Director Joseph Hiria, who has given us a lot of support. The Umeme board, led by the board chairman, management and staff. All commissioners and senior management of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Of course, our religious leaders. We see you, Pastor Sempa. Thank you for coming. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a momentous occasion indeed. And going through the last 5 years, as we started winding up the concession and following the cabinet decision of October 2022, the teams have been working under pressure. And we kept guiding the teams that when they are under pressure, they should keep calm and unruffled on the surface, paddle like a duck, like everything is underneath. So they have managed during this tumultuous time exceedingly well. Please let's applaud the teams led by the Minister of Energy. I recall the last meeting we had with Umeme a few days ago. The CEO, and I want to thank you, Celestino, with your team blessing, were very calm in that meeting, but behind them, a lot was happening. Equally, Uedcl has gone through a very busy time, and yet the CEO came and was calm. The Electricity Regulatory Authority, ERA, CEO, we know the pressure under which you've been working. So we really want to thank everyone that has contributed to this process and ensured a seamless, largely seamless handover. I want to start with the decision of Cabinet and therefore thank His Excellency the President and together with our Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development and the ministerial team for the guidance you have given us throughout this process. We kept coming again and again to ensure that we were on the right track, and many times you guided and very well. Following the Cabinet decision, we put in place 3 committees as the governance structure for this transition. There was a steering committee that the Honorable Minister chaired alongside the Attorney General and the Minister of Finance. And without a doubt, the steering committee steered us, and very well. There was a joint technical committee where we sat as the technical team, where we were represented as the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. And I want to thank the commissioners that led that team. Engineer Cecilia Menya, Engineer Abdona Twine, they were at the helm of guiding the ministry team in a committee that I chaired. The Ministry of Finance was a member of that team represented by the Permanent Secretary and the Secretary to Treasury, and we want to thank PSST in absentia for continuing to support this process, and at the end, ensuring we pay Umeme in a timely manner. We had the National Planning Authority, and we want to thank pass our appreciation to the authority for the support they gave us to ensure that this process is aligned with the national goals. I want in a special way to thank the Electricity Regulatory Authority, CEO, for the strength, but also the courage you brought to this process. Together with your team, we want to applaud you. The Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited was a member of that committee, and without a doubt, Mr. Paul Mwesigwa, you steered this process and very well, calm under pressure. It's to a point that sometimes would worry. Mr. Mwesigwa is very calm, but he has mastered the art of leading under pressure. I want to thank the Office of the Prime Minister that was also a member of this committee, and Mr. Irumba, please pass on our gratitude. You can stand, because they ensured we are well coordinated within cabinet, but also government, to deliver on this process. In a special way, under the coordination committee, where UEDCL sat with Umeme, I want to thank Umeme, Celestino and your team. They were very responsive. We had a few hiccups along the way, but we resolved them. I want to thank Celestino, Blessing, but the entire team. Indeed, Mr. Vitature, you had an A team, and continue lending them to us whenever we need them. Thank you very much. We had support from the World Bank, back end, just monitoring and guiding us on those things where we needed guidance, where necessary. And I want to thank Makados. They are here, our technical advisors. Just stand up. Makados Aries, just stand up. So what Makados was doing was largely to sit, we call them the red team. Everything is going on, we are all up and about, but you have this third party looking from the outside in and being able to guide us on where the risks lie and ensuring we've captured those risks and very well. And indeed, the guidance you gave us has supported us, especially in the recruitment strategy. We thank you. I want in a special way to thank the Auditor General, our Director here, in the absence of Mr. Cole, for the leadership you provided during this period. Now, when we wrote to the Office of the Auditor General about a year ago, requesting them to commence this audit, Director Hiria, together with Mr. Cole, took this by the bull's horns. They understood the task at hand and ensured they met the timelines. And we want to thank you. If you hadn't met the timelines, we wouldn't be here, would still be stuck in the hay. So thank you very much, Director Hiria, for that leadership. Now, in summary, as a committee and therefore the governance structure of this transition, we focused on 4 pillars which delivered the transition. Number 1, we were keen on issues of governance, just looking into the company UEDCL and understanding where they stand as a company, going back in 2 times and reviewing their memorandum and articles of association and ensuring that the board is ready for the new season that the company is entering into. And with the guidance of the shareholders, the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Finance, indeed, we had to amend the memorandum and articles of association for the company to provide for more competencies to strengthen the board for the season they are entering into. And I want to thank the shareholders for that support. The other pillar was a technical pillar. We were keen to ensure that UEDCL is prepared to take on and manage this concession. So we were keen on the recruitment strategy that the company was deploying to ensure that we are able, number 1, to retain a critical mass of the Umeme staff as enshrined in the lease and assignment agreement we have with Umeme, but also the support agreement Umeme has with the Ministry of Finance. And that recruitment strategy has largely worked, but like we say, the test of that strategy is after today. So the MD, Mr. Mwesigwa, please ensure that the teams that you have recruited, you address issues of change management, culture. You're marrying 2 cultures. How do you ensure a competent team to deliver on the new task. So it's not over. You've recruited, but the teams must mingle. The teams must work together. And we'll be keen to continue providing guidance in that regard. We were keen on the technical pillar still to pay attention to issues of procurement. How does government support UEDCL in this season to procure efficiently and ensure they have the necessary materials to continue supporting supply of these public goods? And that we have endeavored, and we continue to work even with the Minister of Finance to see if there are specific reforms we need to undertake in the PPDA law to support companies like UEDCL in the commercial space to operate commercially and not be encumbered by the bureaucracies that some of the laws bring time and again. We were keen under our third pillar to look at issues financing, to ensure, number one, that the buyout amount is mobilized, and we thank finance, but also ensure that UEDCL is supported and we ensure their financial sustainability. And we are happy to report, like the MD already indicated, but also ERA, we have made provision of sufficient funding to enable them continue operating the assets. And we are thinking long term. We continue to work out mechanisms with ERA, but also the Ministry of Finance to ensure the sustainability of the sector and UEDCL specifically. We had a fourth pillar, and that was largely the audit process and how we handle the transition. So, Honorable Minister and members, we want to use this opportunity to once again highlight, and it has already been indicated by the different speakers, that UEDCL is not in this alone. We are walking the journey with them. The Electricity Regulatory Authority has already given them key performance indicators. They have targets. They must deliver on these targets. If they don't, they will be penalized. So we are keen to ensure the company delivers on these targets. We are aware of some challenges Umeme has encountered on the collection side, and we have tasked UEDCL to ensure that all the remaining institutions that are not connected to prepaid meters are connected so that you're assured of your collections. Besides the targets, we are keen to ensure that on the government side, we continue supporting the company. Just like we've done for Umeme, we've been deploying government financing, whether GOU government or development financing, for example, like we have under the World Bank, Electricity Access Scale-Up Project to grow our grid. So that support will continue to be extended to UEDCL. So all the ingredients to support UEDCL have a successful journey have largely been put in place. We are aware of the ongoing power outages, but even that, the MD has comforted you that as soon as they take over, they will hit the ground running to ensure they fill the gaps, the deficits that we are experiencing on the network. So as a ministry, we have required UEDCL to be bold in this season, to be strong but also courageous. And without a doubt, you will flourish because you have a support system behind you. You're not alone. We are in this together. So, Honorable Minister, as we prepare to enter the next session, I really want to thank you for the guidance you continue to give us. Like you know, we look for you at midnight, sometimes at 1 a.m., and you're available. The Honorable Kasai, thank you. Honorable Kasai mentors us. He mentors us to ensure that we continue doing our work and very well. With that, thank you for coming, and we look forward to a fruitful 20 years as we implement our new energy policy and our second power sector generation reforms. I thank you very much. So with that, before we can invite the Honorable Minister, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, invite our dear Honorable Minister for State for Energy, the Honorable Sidronius Okasai Opolot. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, the various board chairs, especially the one of Umeme, honorable members of parliament, and all of you, good afternoon. Oh, it is good morning still. It is because I woke up very early. I thought I've been up for a long day already. I'm so delighted standing here today. It has been a lot of pain getting through the questions both in the cabinet and parliament, asking, will you manage to get this transition through? I'm actually delighted we have reached a stage where I can say we have succeeded, Honorable Minister. While my friend Bitature was talking about electricity, in various fora, they actually say, Minister of Energy, do you really have energy? Do you have power? And when that question is asked, confidently we said, yes, we have power. So I must thank you for your passion for the energy sector. I honestly would wish to thank you for insistence on changing the character of Umeme. I listened to you, how you went through it, and I think we went to the same school. I actually believed in the transformation that you achieved. So well done. It was a long journey, but you delivered it. I wish to thank the cabinet for the so many hard questions which were positive in nature. The questions were in good faith, making sure we are on top of the game. Honorable Minister, it's nice working with you. I wish to thank my colleagues, the members of parliament. Without those hard questions, maybe we would have faltered. We took those questions in good faith. And today, when we are standing here, we are celebrating the success of everyone who has been working with us through this hard path to deliver the transition and the transfer of the assets, from retransfer of the assets from Umeme now to Uedcl. And to my team in Ministry of Energy, I believe in you. I will not fear, actually, when I'm going to Parliament or Cabinet, because I have, you see, a very strong team behind me. P.S. Thank you for your leadership in the ministry, and to all my staff who have delivered this, and Umeme, Chief Executive, and the board chair. Don't let us and say you are done. This morning when I was traveling from Soroti, I kept my eyes open. And I was looking out, is there any darkness? Because today is the end of the concession. I'm glad to actually announce I never saw any darkness wherever there was light. So, well done, Umeme, and well done, Uedcl. And I look forward to continued delivery across the value chain of the electricity. Generation who have got to push hard. I heard him say, if we don't work hard, Celestino, you said it, in the next 3 years we shall have a shortage. We take that seriously. The Chief Executive of Uedcl, who have got, and your board chair, who have got a task to stabilize and deliver power in adequate quantities to wherever there is a call for electricity. And Uedcl, I will not leave Umeme out. We shall continue delivering on the distribution segment of that value chain. It is not my day to speak. I must stop here and thank all of you for listening to me. And with this, I wish to invite the Honorable Minister to come and deliver her speech and then see the transfer of the assets.
Thank you very much, my colleague Minister. The Permanent Secretary is good at protocol, my Permanent Secretary. And I want to stand on the protocol well elaborated and say, how do you do? How do you do? How are you? Hello. I am sure that each one of you knows very well what is running through her or him. If you ask me how I'm doing, I think it can take a whole day, but I'm just feeling my heart is melting with excitement and joy and vigor. And so I am happy to be here today. And when you address me as your chief guest, I get lost because I feel I'm part and part of you. I should be addressing a chief guest who is not myself, because we've been running together. And so this is our day, all of us. But thank you for inviting me as a chief guest. But I am part and parcel of everything. And all the speeches that have been made, I am part and parcel of everything. And therefore, I'm just going to summarize. First of all, Mr. Celestino, Paul, my PS, CEO era, have told us the story, how it started. And so I'll not take you back to 2005 and what happened, which was in my speech, because you've given us the background. But I just want to emphasize the point that Tino, I learned that sometimes you are called as Tino. What he said that what we are going through was a known known. I liked that, because the reaction from the people was as if it is unknown known. Okay? The number of times I have been called to Parliament to give reports, to Cabinet, to give reports. And even towards the end, I think last week, I was invited to appear before Parliament, 2 parliamentary committees at the same time, handling the same thing. Committee of Natural Resources, I was invited by the chairperson of the committee to appear at 10. The Committee of National Economy invited the same minister to appear before it, same day, same time, at 10. So what I did was to take myself, and I kept time. I thought that Natural Resources, since we've been together more often, they will understand. I will just start the committee and then leave my technical team and then cross over to national economy. Wapi. I reach there and they get stuck on me. They said, no, you have to complete. But I want to thank the chair and the members of Natural Environment and Natural Resources Committee. The chair informed his friend, his colleague, the chairperson of national economy, that we are not letting the minister go, you can join us. So the chairperson of national economy is not here, but I want to thank him so much. He came and participated, so I ended up being in one place, handling both committees at the same time. The issue was Umeme concession. How prepared are you? So this known thing appeared to be unknown at some time. The kind of issues that were being raised, even on numbers, you can imagine. How come ERA told us a different figure? You are now talking about different figure. You are now borrowing, you know, different. And I'm like, all these are estimates. Because the concession is still running. And the Auditor General has to do his work. He had to give a provisional figure, which we based on to ask finance to put a loan request of $190 million provisionally as the Auditor General completes. But some people were looking for some loophole to catch us. We are going to catch them, to get backward. We are going to catch them. The difference in the figures, we are going to catch them. So, and some people could not tell the difference between borrowing money and cashing. And so you had to explain that borrowing is a process. You can't wait till the Auditor General has completed and then you borrow. Then you go to cabinet and then parliament. I mean, you have to be prepared. Then the question of where have you been? Didn't you know? Why didn't you do this thing early enough? And I'm like, supposing we did it 6 months ago, what will happen the remaining period when Umeme is still handling and is still investing? And even the concession itself instructs us what to do when. But I don't know what was wrong with people. The anxiety has been too much. And I thank God, the living God we serve, whose nature is mercy. He has been merciful today because we stood firm. I surrounded myself with gadgets to safeguard me from being pushed into panic mode. You call me and I listen to you and I'm like, okay, now take this way. Now do this way. Under Secretary, how are you feeling? Because it has been like run, and I knew and I trusted that the President took a decision well calculated when he guided and instructed me not to renew the concession and therefore prepare. And he kept on telling Cabinet, we shall get the money. Because the issue was, will you get the buyout? Because if you don't, then this transition will not take place. And I could look at the President's face every time in the Cabinet and elsewhere, insisting that we shall get the money. So I based on that trust to maintain my smile and my confidence, to move with everybody, basing on the trust I have in my President and what I have learned from him. My President has never been panicky. He wouldn't have won the liberation war. He handled every category of people. Abasamize, Abasabi, you know. He handled every category of people, and he was able to guide somebody who told him that now that you have done this, even if you march to Kampala, you will take over. Kati owamba Kampala kati, already said, okay, tell the spirits to leave this part now for us. Tell the spirits to leave that part for us. I would like to tell Ugandans to leave this last leg to us because we are going to deliver. We are going to deliver. We got prepared. So it has been a lesson. I know that you have learned a lot to be consistent and follow the proper procedure. Somebody is telling you to pay. No. The Auditor General finally delivered the figure. Okay? And the other issue now was that now Umeme has a different figure. The Auditor General has given us a different figure. How can that be a problem? When we know that we have a period of harmonization. From 1st of April, the Auditor General and everybody concerned will be sitting with Umeme to harmonize. How can that be a problem? In the Auditor General's report, it was very clear that that wasn't the conclusive one because there is work which Umeme is still doing. They mentioned incompleted work. In other words, the Auditor General was telling you, for this, you can clear. $118 million US, go ahead and clear. And we did that. We cleared. There is work worth 9.78 or 87 million US dollars. That work is recognized as being work in progress. There could be another portion which will need harmonization. So I can assure you, Umeme Board and Executive, Mr. Patrick Vitatul and your team, that we are still together. We have to conclude naturally because this is not a termination. People should understand the difference between a termination and a natural retirement of an agreement. So I'm so happy. I cannot explain how I'm feeling, especially in this month. I can call it a month that has delivered triplets. I said this in State House. Triplets from me and my team, because we handle much more than electricity in my ministry. This very month, one of the 3 triplets came out when East African crude oil pipeline reached the financial close. That is not a mean achievement. We've been moving up and down. Then on Saturday, 28th, as we were preparing for this triplet of ours today, another one also came out. When I signed the implementation agreement for the refinery. Okay? Today, we are about to see the triplet coming out when we are receiving the assets and the network from Umeme. And the deliveries have been natural and normal. No cuts. Natural and normal. Bleeding, minimum bleeding, expected bleeding, but it's okay. No scissor, normal, natural, and the mother is going to be live and kicking. Okay? Little blood here and there, expected. And I've been calling it consequential inconveniences. You cannot expect us to run as if there was nothing to transfer or even nothing regarding a structure or even nothing regarding recruitment. No. When you recruit people whose legs are still in Umeme and you are recruiting them, do you expect them to run normally, absolutely, 100%? You are inviting them, they are making applications, they are the very people. Celestino is calling because the minister has called, there is an emergency here, but the person is organizing for an interview. This kind of little bleeding is expected. And I want to call upon Ugandans really to bear with us. But the babies are alive and kicking. They are alive and kicking. So the lessons that we learn are in the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, that talks about seasons. There was a season when Umeme was majorly needed, and we call Umeme our savior. Because that season required a midwife to deliver us. And Umeme came up. And they've been nurturing the baby, nurturing the baby, nurturing the baby. So the other seasons are also coming. When your baby tells you, I am above 18, I feel I can choose to go and find a family of my own. What do you do as a parent? You just support. So Umeme, I'm expecting you to support us. Celestino, don't switch off, please. Don't switch off. We are still together because much as you are Babungi, Celestino, you are Ugandan. Some people thought that you are not. And because I have seen it from the speech of your able chair of board, and even you yourself, and the spirit within which you've been working, this is your baby whom you wish to deliver more triplets, okay? This is your baby, so I have no doubt that you'll be quick to give guidance, So I have taken note of the need to generate more power. I think in today's papers we have a request for proposal from our accountant for people to express their interest for consultancy regarding feasibility study for one of the planned hydropower plant, a 400 megawatt hydropower plant, Kiba. And we have to make sure that we fast track. This we have told the president many times. And there are indicators that he has picked it, and us beginning on new, bigger power generation plants that we shall be working on. We know that. To you, Paul Omwesigwa, this season is a season which comes periodically, every after 5 years. This is a political season. Things are not going to be the same. You ask Celestino, what happens during this season? My dear, things are not going to be the same. So those ties and suits you are wearing, things are not going to be the same. The members of parliament are here. And the candidates are not small. From the presidential level to LC1. And LC1 chairperson will call you. But in that very village, probably is where the presidential candidate will hold a rally. Okay? So that chairman, LC1, will have an opportunity to come on the microphone. Muzei, these people, they don't know what they are doing. Can you imagine? We've been in darkness for all this time. Paulo. At that time, Umeme will not be there. Umeme's name has been sleek and easy to mention. In good and bad times. You say, Umeme. Now, UEDCL, which some people call UDCL, others call it UTCL, others call it what? We will not bother with that company. We will say, Paulo Mwesigwa. Mwesigwa. This Mwesigwa man. Because UEDCL is long for people. So you Ugandans who are listening to me, whenever you've been hearing Umeme, put Paulo Mwesigwa. Umeme Mwesigwa. Umeme Mwesigwa. Mwesigwa, is this man Mwesigwa really? Mwesigwa. So, this is what is coming. The good thing is that it is coming and finding us prepared. You are lucky. You even mentioned how much money you have. $74 million at your disposal. Being a Paulo Mwesigwa at this stage, when you are taking over, you can pull some sympathy, but that sympathy will not be forever, because government has done everything it takes to support you financially. And you have recruited people who have experience. Your network is full of people who have experience. And what you have to do now, working with us, of course, is to make sure that we put a strong communication network. I met Mr. Kauju in Igaba when blackouts were becoming too much. And I was informed that, Madam, you see, Gaba substation, which serves Munyonyo, Kansanga, Chirudu, you know, all those people is being worked on. Said, okay, we are replacing a transformer, which is a good thing. I had to go to Gaba with the Tino, and Kauju was there, and I found a lady with the machine trying to fix. I was excited, but my question to Mr. Kauju was, did you communicate? He said they had communicated. And I demanded for effective communication to save us. So the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, working with the agencies, we must communicate effectively. This is what I'm demanding from you. You will sit and tell me how. Okay? How can people complain of losing their items in the fridge? Yet Umeme tells me that they communicated and alerted people. Somebody from Kansanga says, oh, ebintu byadda ku byonna bifudde.